Good evening, and welcome to the January edition of the Ask Mary and Pat Show. And normally it's featuring Miss Mary Fenner and Miss Pat Boga. However, this evening we have Miss May Stigler and Miss Pat Boga. We are so glad that you are joining us this evening from wherever you may be. And to those who are watching the recording later on, thanks for tuning in. My name is Tabitha White. I am the Assistant Technology and Metrics Director for Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation, which is the parent corporation of Healthy Kids Mississippi. We recognize our board chair, Jennifer Garrett, our executive director, Dr. Michael O. Minor, and our project director, Mrs. Lottie Minor. In addition to the Zoomcast, we are restreaming this evening's webinar on the Oak Hill Regional CDC and Healthy Kids Mississippi Facebook pages. Feel free to like and share on your social media pages. Also, post any questions or comments that you may have in Zoom chat or in social media comments. We will do our best to respond to each and every one of your questions. Before we get started, here are a few reminders. If you have not downloaded the Oak Hill Regional CDC app, please do so at this moment. It is free of charge, absolutely free, $0, 0 cents, free of charge in the Google Play Store, as well as the Apple Store. All you have to do is search Oak Hill CDC or Mississippi Healthcare Help. Did I say free of charge? Yes, it's totally free of charge. You heard that correctly. Please download it right now. I want to remind you again at the conclusion of the show, but now it's time to get started with Miss May Stigler and Miss Pat Boga. It's in your hands.
All right. We want to say good evening to you. This is Miss Pat Boga. And of course, I am a sister, navigator, and applications administrator with Oak Hill Regional CDC's Healthy Kids Mississippi and Get Covered Mississippi. We're always excited to join you each month for Ask Mary and Pat Show. Okay. And again, as Ms. White said, Ms. Fenner will not join us tonight, but we have a ram in the bush, and that is Mrs. May Stigler. Good afternoon, good evening, Ms. Stigler.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm so glad to be able to join in tonight. This is May Stigler. I work for Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation. Love my job, love working with them, love working with the consumers. I am a navigator, Medicaid administrative assistant. We're here to help in your health insurance. And we're going to start off with a question from Ms. Boger.
Okay. All right. Well, looks like we already have a few questions. And we also want to make mention that we are going to answer a few questions, and then we're going to turn it over to Mr. Clarence Campbell. That's right. We're always excited to have him join us because he has so much information to share. He usually gives us information on the affordable healthcare insurance through the Affordable Care Act, but on tonight, he is going to share some information on VITA. And I know you're probably wondering, what is VITA? Well, he's going to tell us in just a little bit. Our first question, I have been hearing about Medicaid expansion, and I was wondering if I qualify for Medicaid expansion in the state of Mississippi. I am currently unemployed. I have no income, and I really need Medicaid. Okay. The answer to this question, and of course, this person is over the age limit for Medicaid and does not have minor children that will qualify her for regular Medicaid. Okay. Well, the answer is, unfortunately, Mississippi did not approve Medicaid expansion. It has been approved in many other states, but not in Mississippi. I would encourage you to reach out to your state representative and senators. Well, actually, it may be, well, no, I'm not going to say it's too late for that, but just reach out to them to see if there's anything they can do to help get it approved. You may qualify for the Affordable Health Care Insurance through the Affordable Care Act, or be eligible for assistance with the federally qualified community health centers in Mississippi. Get Covered Mississippi navigators can assist you with looking at plans to see if you qualify. Although open enrollment ended on January the 16th of this year, you would have to be eligible for a special enrollment period in order to qualify for affordable health care insurance now. And the next open enrollment will be November 1st, 2024. Ms. Stigler, you want to take the next one?
Yes, ma'am, I will. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We have another question in say, my daughter passed away about 3 months ago, and I have custody of her 3-year-old son. Can I apply for Medicaid for him or renew his Medicaid if he has it now? The answer is yes, you can. And if he does not already have Medicaid, you still can apply for him. You will have to have proof of your relationship to him, or custody paper, or both, and you will need his Social Security number and his date of birth. There might be some more benefits available for you as well, but Medicaid, you definitely can apply for Medicaid for your 3-year-old grandson.
All right. Let's see if there's a question. Okay, let me see. I can't read or write. What other ways can I complete Medicaid application? And the answer to that question is you can get a family member or a designated representative to complete it for you and with you, actually. And this would have to be, they would have to have your consent. You may also get an assister or applications administrator with Healthy Kids Mississippi, and they can assist you with completing the application over the phone with you or in person. We can mail the application in or even complete it with you online and send it in to Medicaid directly. And we can also help you with sending in the required documents, but you can also get those documents into Medicaid within the designated time period. So that will be no problem. We are here to assist you. Okay.
That's correct, Sister Boger. We are here to assist the consumers any way we can. And
Yes,
please do not hesitate to contact anyone with Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation.
right. And that number is 662-298-3584. Okay. We're located, the office is located in Hernando, Mississippi, but there are sisters all over the state of Mississippi, and we can help you. Okay. So before we go, we were going to pause and let you hear from Mr. Campbell, but there is a question in the chat. Ms. Stigler, can you take that question?
I cannot see the question, Ms. Boger.
Okay, how soon should I apply for Mississippi Medicaid after moving from Memphis? Okay.
I would be glad to answer it, Ms. Boger, if you would like for me to, or you can answer, whichever you prefer.
Okay, you can go ahead and answer.
Once you move from another state, you can apply for Medicaid that same day, but your case has to be closed in a different state. You cannot have Medicaid in one state, and say if you have Medicaid in Arkansas and you want to apply for Medicaid in Mississippi, your case would have to be closed in Arkansas in order for Mississippi to pick up your Medicaid.
That's true. That's true. All right, well, we're going to pause for a moment because, again, Mr. Campbell has some vital information that he is going to share with us on VITA, and he's going to tell us all about it right now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is
Good evening.
Clarence Campbell, and I am a navigator with Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation. I also serve as education coordinator with them. And then something else that I do with Oak Hill Regional CDC is that I'm a volunteer and I guess also a trainer with the VITA program there. VITA stands for, it's an acronym, stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistant. And what we do is we help people prepare their income tax for filing. And I just have a little presentation that I'd like to go through regarding income tax, some of the reasons why you want to file income tax and why you may want to use VITA services. Right, so VITA, it's a program, it's through the Internal Revenue Service, but here in the Mid-South, it's kind of administrated through the United Way of the Mid-South. United Way of the Mid-South is located in Memphis, and they're responsible for seeing that all the sites that we have, all the VITA sites that we have in the Mid-South are up and running, and that all the volunteers are trained and certified. One of the things that you're going to see on this first slide is you'll see down in the lower left-hand corner, 211. 211 is the number that you can call to find the nearest VITA site near you. Call that number, and I guess you will enter in your zip code, and it'll give you addresses of VITA sites in your area. It's some key filing dates for the 2024 tax season. A couple of these have already passed. 12th IRS free file opens. So you're able to begin filing returns through IRS free file partners. Tax returns will be transmitted to the IRS starting January 24th, which is already started. And then also tax software companies are accepting tax filings in advance. January 16th, which was last week or a couple weeks ago, that's the due date for tax year 2023 fourth quarter estimate tax payments. And today, January 29th, IRS begins the 2023 tax season. Individuals, I should say 2023, but individual 2023 tax returns are being accepted and processing begins. February 17th. February 17th is Super Tax Saturday at the Hill Hernando. The Hill Hernando located in Hernando, Mississippi, 1775 Memphis Street there. That's the headquarters for Oak Hill Regional CDC, and it's also the location of our VITA site there. And then we have April 15th. April 15th is a due date for 2023 returns, or that's the due date, the last date that you can request an extension. And this is also when any tax that is owed needs to be paid. A little bit more about free tax prep overview. United Way Mid-South, in cooperation with Internal Revenue Service, formed a coalition of local businesses, nonprofit agencies, members of the faith-based community and the public sector back in 2002 to initiate the free tax program. And it's moved down a little bit. It just says that the partnership provides free income tax preparation and free electronic filing for low to moderate income individuals and families. The mission of Free Tax Preparation Initiative is threefold. It's to provide a free and safe alternative to paid predatory tax preparation services through VITA, promote the awareness of the Earned Income Tax Credit, EITC, and promote financial literacy and savings. And it's interesting, as I mentioned, predatory tax preparation services. I just happened to be watching Channel 13 Fox News coming out of Memphis, and they did quite a bit on predatory tax preparation services, and you need to be aware of what you might be getting into if you're not careful with who you choose. Okay, so more about free tax prep. Generally speaking, your income needs to be less than $64,000. Your household income that you'll be submitting for filing should be under $64,000. Now, some of the VITA sites may continue to work with past clients if their income is higher than that now, but typically a new client coming in will be directed to a paid preparer if their income is much more than $64,000. And again, the free tax prep also helps people avoid the predatory lending practices at less than reputable tax centers. We provide information, access to information about savings, financial literacy, and healthy financial practices. And what this predatory lending practices is referencing is, this is referencing the instant tax refunds that some places will offer. These instant tax refunds are actually known as RALs, refund anticipation loans. And what they're doing, if you take advantage of a rapid refund, instant refund, then you're being loaned the money by some financial institution that this tax preparer works with. And the amount of interest that you pay is considerable. With other lending practices or lending terms, the amount of interest that they charge would be considered usury or illegal. But the tax preparers get around it by saying this is just a advance on your anticipated tax refund. A little bit about VITA. Again, VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. And we are experienced tax preparers, but we are not tax experts. Again, I'll say we are not tax experts. We have a lot of material that's provided to us by the IRS. We go through a pretty lengthy certification process, and there's several different levels of certification that we may obtain, whether it's basic or advanced or military, I think international, a lot of them. But still at that, we don't consider ourselves to be tax experts. Okay, some more about VITA. Offers free tax help to people who generally make $64,000 or less, people with disabilities, the elderly and limited English-speaking taxpayers who need assistance in preparing their own returns. And the IRS certified volunteers provide free basic income tax preparation with electronic filing to qualified individuals. The assistance is provided at community and neighborhood centers, libraries, schools, shopping malls, and other locations. Who should file? Who should file their income tax? Most U.S. citizens and permanent residents who work in the United States need to file a tax return if they make more than a certain amount for that year. You may want to file even if you make less than an amount, because you may get money back. This could apply to you if you've had federal income tax withheld from your pay. So you don't make enough where you have to file, but throughout the year, income tax is withheld. Well, you have to file a return in order to get that money back. Or if you've made estimated tax payments, you anticipated that you were going to make enough so that you needed to file, so you made your quarterly tax payments, then you'll need to file a return in order to get that money back. You also have to file tax in order to claim tax credits such as the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit. And these particular credits, particular earned income tax credit, can provide several $1,000s worth of income to people that qualify for it based off of their income and their family size, the number of eligible children that they would have. So here are some figures for who must file a tax return. If you're single and under 65, your income needs to be at least $13,850 in order for you to have to file. If you're 65 or older, you don't have to file unless your income is greater than $15,700. Married filing jointly, the figures range from $27,700 for both spouses, under 65 up to $30,700 for 65 and older, both spouses. Married filing separately, if your gross income is at least $5, you have to file. If you are claiming the head of household, eligible for filing head of household status under 65, then you have to file if your gross income is over $20,800. And qualified surviving spouses get the same break that married filing jointly get for this 1 year. So if your spouse died in 2023, then for that particular year, you qualify for the qualifying surviving spouse filing status. Some of the benefits of filing a tax return to get the money back that you may have paid in. You may have paid in an excess amount of tax because more was withheld than needed to be withheld, or you found out that the amount that you made is less than the standard deduction and the single person credit. Second, you might want to file income tax in order to claim the earned income tax credit. If you're a worker or family with low to moderate income, their income tax credit can reduce the tax you owe and may also give you a larger refund. And again, there's a child tax credit. You may be entitled to a child tax credit for each qualifying child who is under age 17 at the end of the year. You claim that child as a dependent. You also benefit by filing your tax return by you'll avoid interest and penalties by filing an accurate return on time. And even if you can't pay, you should file a tax return or request an extension to avoid owing more money. You may also want to file to help protect your credit. You may avoid having a lien placed against you when you file an accurate tax return on time and pay any tax you owe in the right way before the deadline. Liens can damage your credit score and make it harder for you to get a loan. And liens can be certain such things as losing a refund that you have coming up, let's say for 2023, because you didn't pay your taxes in 2022. Liens can also mean that the IRS can attach to your bank accounts and garnish more or less the money that you owe them or that they say you owe them. And these sort of things will damage your credit. Some other benefits of filing a tax return is if you are a student and you want to file for financial aid, or if you're a parent of a student that wants to file for financial aid, an accurate tax return can make it easier to apply for help with your education expenses. Number two is you build your Social Security benefit. There's a lot of people that are self-employed. And if you're self-employed, you're supposed to claim the amount of income that you generate being self-employed. If you claim the correct amount of income, it'll ensure that you get credited to the correct amount of Social Security credit. The amount of Social Security that you'll be eligible for once you become eligible for Social Security is based off of the amount of Social Security tax that you pay, FICA tax. And so you may get some advantage by underreporting your income now. You may not have to pay as much tax on it right now, as much income tax. But what will happen is this means that once you become eligible for Social Security, then the amount that you receive could be greatly reduced. You also need to file a tax return so that you can have an accurate picture of your income. When you apply for your loan, lenders are going to look at your tax return to figure interest rate and decide if you can repay. If you haven't filed taxes, you don't have any record of what your income has been, then lenders may be quite reluctant to give you a loan because they have no idea what you actually earned. They also don't have any idea whether or not you're going to pay them back. If you don't pay the federal government, they might figure, well, they won't pay me back either. Another reason to file a tax return is so that you become eligible for premium tax credits, in particular, advanced premium tax credits. Premium tax credits are credits that you receive, which reduces the amount of your premium that you would pay for coverage that you get, healthcare coverage that you get through the marketplace, Affordable Care Act coverage. You have the option of choosing to receive the amount of credit that you're eligible for on a monthly basis. This is called the advanced premium tax credit. This advanced premium tax credit I've seen reduce ACA premiums from maybe several hundred, $900 to under $100 because of the amount of tax credit that this person is eligible for. But in order to receive this premium tax credit, you have to agree to file your return. Then there's also some other stipulations. And that one of these is if you're married, you have to file married filing joint. But again, these tax credits can be pretty substantial. They can amount to several $1,000s a year off of a premium that you'd have to pay for healthcare coverage. And then finally is get peace of mind. When you file a tax return, tax return and pay your taxes on time, you'll know that you're doing the right thing to follow the law. And so what you want to do is you want to practice tax avoidance versus tax evasion. Tax avoidance is simply not paying any more taxes than you have to. Tax avoidance means taking advantage of all the various deductions or filing status or other things that you're entitled to. Tax evasion is just not paying your taxes or underreporting your income. All right, so you've decided that you might want to see a VITA volunteer, an IRS certified volunteer. And VITA preparers will prepare returns based off of your wages and salaries from W-2s, your Form 1099, various 1099s, your 1099 INT, interest, dividend, 1099 Gs for tax refunds, state income tax refunds, for unemployment benefits, 1099-G, IRS distributions, 1095-R, pension income, again, 1095-Rs, Social Security benefits. To some degree, we'll work with 1099-Bs, limited, a limited amount for 1099-S for sale of homes. And then in particular, one that we'll do is self-employment income from Form 1099 miscellaneous or 1099 NEC, 1099 non-employee compensation. And then we'll also make sure that your gambling winnings are included or deducted if necessary. Loss that you might have, cancellation of debt, make sure that's included. We will reconcile the amount from Form 1099 essays, health savings account. We do itemized deductions up to a point. We'll do education credits, child tax credit, health insurance credit, health insurance statements. If you have Affordable Care Act coverage, marketplace coverage, at the end of the year, you have to reconcile the tax premiums that you received. You'll receive a Form 1095-A that will make sure is reconciled so that you get squared away with the government in terms of having received the right amount of tax credits. Oops, okay. What we're not going to do at a VITA site. We're not going to do a Schedule C with loss depreciation or business use of home. Complicated Schedule Ds. What's complicated, the repair will make that determination. We don't do Form SS, request for Social Security number, non-deductible IRAs, Form 88606, Form 8814. There's another one, Form SS-8, determination of worker status for the purpose of withholding federal taxes and income tax withholding, and a couple others. And certainly there's we won't do returns with casualty or disaster losses. And so for these complicated returns, you'll need to see a professional prepare for assistance in preparing these. Okay, find a VITA site near you. And VITA sites are located, as we said, in various areas. I gave you a number earlier, 211. The easiest way to find a VITA site near you is to dial 211, and they'll prompt you on what you need to do in order to locate the site near you. One of the sites that we're going to have in the DeSoto County area is at the Hill Hernando building, site 1775 Memphis Street. And again, it says dial 211. We will open for Super Tax Tuesday there on February 17th, and we'll continue accepting returns up through April 11th. We cut off on April 11th to give us time to prepare any returns that come in, make sure that they're ready for being filed on the April 15th. Walk-ins are welcome. Our hours, Wednesday and Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 5 p.m. and then on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you need more information about the VITA site at the Hill Hernando, you can call 662-298-3584. Some other sites in this area, there's the M.R. Dye Public Library. This is on Goodman Road in Horn Lake. They're open on Tuesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. In Tunica, there's the R.C. Irwin Public Library, 1285 Kenny Hill Drive in Tunica. They'll be open February 5th through April 11th. Walk-ins are also welcome there. And the days that they're open are Mondays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right, so if you decide to go to a paid preparer, that's fine. Just realize that it's going to cost you because they're in business to do that. In general, the information I had last year, it's probably a little bit more this year. It's going to start off at about $220 for a very simple return, and this is going to go up. And then if you need additional tax forms and schedules, in other words, if you can't do a standard 1040 and take the standard deduction and start using additional schedules, then it's going to go up generally on a flat fee based on the form or schedule that is used. And some fees that you might expect to pay are maybe $320, $25, something like that for Form 1040 with Schedule A and a state return. Maybe $192 for Schedule C. And then also bear in mind that for some of these preparers, if they're going to offer you a refund anticipation loan, an instant tax return, the fee that you pay for your return is probably going to be considerably higher. And there's also going to be a fee for the instant refund. And these fees can run into several hundreds of dollars or more, depending on the amount of return that you might be eligible for. This is just a fee schedule that I had pulled up. And I'm not going to go through it, it's just that each form that's added, you could end up paying an additional amount. Okay, so again, this is a commercial for the United Way of the Mid-South, our free tax prep program. What do you need to bring with you? Married filing joint, both spouses must be there. You have to have government issued identification, social security cards for any and all the spouse, yourself, and any dependents, birth dates for everyone, a copy of last year's return, maybe, but certainly all forms of W-2, 1099s, any other information that you get in the mail that says tax information included, make sure that you bring that. If you intend to apply for the child care credit, then you'll need to bring the total amount paid to the provider, the tax daycare provider, as well as, of course, their name and their tax identification number. Then for direct deposit of your refund, you're going to need proof of a bank account, the bank's routing number, and your account number. And you may need additional information too. But certainly, we have to have your driver's license and a social security card for each person that's going to be on the return. If you want to speed up your return, if you want to speed up your return, if you don't want to wait for the check, but you want to get a direct deposit into your bank account, then if it's going into a checking account, then you could bring in a voided check that'll have on it the routing number for the bank, the financial institution, and it'll also have your account number. If you don't have a bank and a checking account, a savings account, you don't belong to a credit union, you can still get an direct deposit refund, tax refund. You can go to Walmart or other retailers and you can get a money card, which allows you to open up an account or create an account that the IRS can deposit your refund in. And so I have here the Walmart money card. And then I guess looks like there's a Visa debit card that you can get, a pay-as-you-go money card that you can get, but these can be used in lieu of having a bank account or a credit union account. And this will allow you to take advantage of a direct deposit. And then I just want to talk just a little bit about filing status. If we're talking about a married couple, a lot of times there's advantages to this married couple filing jointly. Joint filers receive one of the largest of the standard deductions each year, and they can deduct a significant amount of their income when calculating your taxable income. And usually, the standard deduction that you're entitled to will greatly exceed the amount that you might be able to itemize. And then couples who file together can usually qualify for multiple tax credits, such as your earned income tax credit, the American Opportunity and Lifelong Earning Tax Credits, Child and Dependent Care Tax Credit, Advanced Premium Tax Credits, student deduction for student loan interest. And some people choose to file separately if they're married. Some of the benefits can be you're on the same level of income as your spouse, and so you're going to split up maybe itemized deductions that way, or maybe both use that standard deduction. You have hefty medical bills that are in excess of generally about $7,500. Might be beneficial to file separately because your income will determine your student loans. And it'll certainly be beneficial for you to file separately if you don't want to be responsible for each other's tax liabilities. Tax liabilities such as a person owes tax. And so if they owe tax and the couple files jointly and they're entitled to a return, the return will be reduced by amount of tax that one of the members owes. Well, there's also situations where one person may be behind in child support. And so their tax refunds, if they're entitled to one, could get snatched that way. Or it could be that the person is delinquent in student loan interest, which hasn't really been a problem during the pandemic, but it's going to return possibly. And so you don't want to lose a refund that way. So there's that might be a benefit to you. Sometimes you can still protect your assets and file jointly by going through the married filing what's called the injured spouse provision. But that's something that you would talk with your tax preparer about to see if that might be more beneficial to you. And finally, there's not a free site near you. You might be able to find that My Free Taxes is a viable self-filing option for you. And what you do is you would go to the IRS website, and there's a link in there. Would be myfreetaxes.com. And then you'd be able to fill out your own taxes that way. And then there's another site out there, Get Your Refund. It says it's a virtual volunteer tax preparation option. A IRS certified volunteer can prepare tax virtually. You'll need to click on this link below, getyourrefund.org/midsouth. And then you would be connected with a tax preparer who would prepare your taxes virtually. Okay, just a reminder, Super Tax Day at the Hill Hernando is February 17th. Your taxes are due April 15th. And unless there are some questions, I'll conclude my presentation.
We thank you so much, Mr. Campbell. That's some valuable information. And actually, I was just talking with someone today about VITA and the criteria and qualifications. And of course, well, the income would work pretty much. But anyway, we thank you so much, and we encourage those that are listening to contact the Heal Hernando, and of course that information was provided. And you can also call the number 662-298-3584 and set up a time, or get ready to come by and get your taxes completed. Okay, we are let me see what else. We do have a couple more questions, but if you don't mind, the person that sent those in, we can get those answers to you. Of course, one of which was, how long does it take to get approved for Medicaid in Mississippi? And the normal processing time is 30 days, but once the application is received, but it can go over that length of time, and that's going to depend on the worker, and you're getting in the information that was requested to go with your case. Okay. And there was another question: what is the maximum income for Medicaid in Mississippi? Now, that's a difficult question to answer because it's according to categories like Medicaid and CHIP, but you can go to medicaid.ms.gov and you will see a section where it says the MAGI. So that will be a scale that will give you information. You can pull it up and it goes by family size and normally the family size. So you'll see that there, and you'll be able to determine, well, and often it's probably best to go ahead and apply for Medicaid, but you can go by that scale to see if you're pretty close or if you're over that income. But right now it's just about time for us to close out, but we did want to ask Ms. Bettina Campbell. Now, we've been talking about federally qualified community health centers. Now, oftentimes you're not going to qualify for Medicaid because your income may be too low. Well, especially if you're an individual, if you're an adult. Now, you're probably not going to qualify unless you qualify for SSI, but you can go to one of the federally qualified community health centers and get those services. And then sometimes, well, I'm going to let Ms. Campbell just give us a little information before it's time for us to get out of here. She can explain it better because she is a specialist in that area. And this is Miss Bettina Campbell. Mrs.
Good
Bettina
evening.
Campbell. Good evening.
I'm not a specialist. I do have some knowledge. I am the person at the Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation that if we believe in going from being insured all the way to care. And if somebody can't qualify, then what we like to do is make sure that they're referred to me so that I can connect to one of the 275 federally qualified health centers in the state of Mississippi. As she said, they are on a sliding fee scale. So that means that it's all based on your ability to pay. It's not free unless it's absolutely necessary, but based on your ability to pay, they will provide you with the same services that you would get at any medical facility that you went to as an outpatient.
Mm-hmm.
So also, they would love it if people who have private insurance decide to make them their medical home, because that means that they would be able to then charge your insurance for your services, so they would have more ability to help people who come in who don't have insurance. So if you find yourself in a position where you need health care, but you can't qualify for any of the medical health care plans that are available, then call us and we will make sure that we get you into one of the 275 qualified health centers across the state of Mississippi.
We thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Campbell. And at this time, Ms. Tabitha White is going to come back and close out of this edition of Ask Mary and Pat. And we just want you to be sure to tune in next month. We're on every month, the last Monday of each month. And we thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Brother Campbell and Sister Campbell, for that wonderful information. Once again, I would like to remind you all to download the Oak Hill Regional Community CDC app. You may download it in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. You may go to search for Oak Hill Regional CDC or Mississippi Health Care Help. You may learn more about us at www.oakhillregionalcdc.com and www.healthykidsmississippi.org. You can contact our office at 662-298-3584 or text us at 662-689-9712. Once again, we acknowledge our board chair, Jennifer Garrett, our executive director, Dr. Michael O. Miner, our project director, Mrs. Lottie Miner. This has been a production of Oak Hill Regional Community Development Corporation, belonging, building, and bridging in the Mid-South region and across the state of Mississippi.